Hello, once again, it's income tax filing season, and we have some information for you that is very important to you and perhaps to your family and to your business today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Welcome back. I have a person here who's given us much information over the years and who has some new information for us today. Alma Scarborough, the tax hit lady. Ms. Scarborough, welcome back.
Thank you, Bernie, and it's so nice to be back. I'm beginning to feel at home.
Well, you're at home.
I'm beginning
That's
to
the way
feel
we want you to feel.
I'm certain you do, yeah.
This is a tax hit season,
yes.
more or less. Tell us.
It is.
Although April the 15th, they say the deadline for filing. Tell us how important that is, and if there are penalties if you don't file on time, all the good stuff. Tell us.
It's coming, okay. Yeah. The deadline, of course, is Monday, April the 15th, yes. And subsequent to that, right after that, if you file your taxes and you owe, then you will be penalized for, if it's 1 day or 5 days, you'll be penalized for failure to file if you do not file at that time. And then you'll have interest. And this has been a difficult year for the taxpaying public, period, because of the drastic law changes that took place in 18. Yeah. And those changes were such that even generally people who use W-2s aren't as affected as much, but they're affected this time because they changed the standards on the W-4. Like if you're married and have one child, you withhold this much, but the numbers have changed. So be sure, I would like the taxpaying public to be sure that they have the right amount withheld this year, 19, on their W-2s, because a lot of people didn't know about it, and some people are not being penalized for that, for not knowing, but I assure you that next year they will. Wow. They may not be penalized this year, but next year they will definitely be penalized if they owe for 18 and they didn't make estimates. Or have more withheld from their income.
Now, you're a tax-enrolled agent, former IRS employee.
Yes.
Sure. Now, what does enrolled agent mean, and what's the advantage of it?
The enrolled agent is, we have the ability to operate in 50 states and all of the U.S. territories. CPAs operate state by state. They're licensed state by state, and they have the same kind of authority if they're an enrolled agent and a CPA. They can go all the way up to tax court just like I can.
Okay. Yeah. So you can go to tax court?
Yes,
okay.
I can go to tax court.
No, the deadline is April the 15th, but is there any grace periods over there? Is 15th the deadline for filing properly?
The 15th is the deadline. Okay. Now, on sometimes they will give you a little bit of edge if you filed on time, but like I said, you may owe because of the differences in the tax law. But the 15th is the 15th is the 15th. Okay. Yeah.
The laws that have changed so much, do you have problems? You or the people in the tax lady's office have you have to keep up with these new laws, right? And
that is so, yes, and I'm glad you brought that up actually, because oftentimes our clients do not know that we spend a big part from like June to November going to conferences and classes about the changes. Wow. And you have to go wherever you have to go. You got to go. Now, some people, don't go, but if you're licensed as an enrolled agent, you have to go to class so much. And so then if you go to class and then there's someone in my organization, well, they got to go to class too. So it becomes kind of expensive, but at the same time, it's more expensive if you file the return wrong, or if I try to represent on an issue that is no longer that can no longer be appealed. You know, so you have to do that. There's no getting around that. And you know, I teach that and talk about it all the time, because people say, well, you might be a little expensive. Well, I might be, but I have to pay the cost.
You're affordable.
Yes, I am quite affordable. But I have to pay the cost. And not only that, I'm there all year long. I'm not in and out where you can't
You're
find
not seasonal tax repairer.
No. I'm what is it, Bernie? 7 days, 24 hours.
24/7,
I got to do it.
How can they reach you, just in case?
Okay, I'm at area code. The telephone number is area code 314-621-1402, or my email address, as shown, is taxhitlady@gmail.com.
And you have some websites too, right?
I do. My website is www.taxhitlady.com, and newly added to my numbers is the taxhitlady@instagram.com.
And they can reach you at any of these sites or
and contact me.
How's the best way to call you or email?
Either one, really, because we're on both of them. You know, so if you call, you will get, unless it's Wednesday, you will get a live voice. What happens on Wednesday is we're shut down to the public so we can catch up with the paperwork. Otherwise, we'll never
but even on Wednesday, they can still leave a message for you.
Oh, sure, you can leave a message.
There's so many things going on. Here's some, what you prepared for me is good. What are the dirty dozen tax scams? Phishing. P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G.
Yes.
So it's fake emails or websites looking to steal personal information. Could you give us a brief overview of what these things are?
Yes, I really wanted to bring out some issues on scams. I don't know if any of your audience or our audience ever watch YouTube. I mean, they have some things on there that are absolutely astounding about how there are people from the Internal Revenue Service, people from the Department of Justice. They are looking for people who are the perpetrators of these scams. And phishing is one, and as Bernie says, it's P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. What the perpetrator is doing there, he's sending you emails, and it makes it look like it's from the Internal Revenue Service, but it's not.
They're searching.
They're just hoping you jump on it so that they can lead you to a place where you'll give them your credit card number, because they'll tell you in the email that they're going to file a lien against you, take your bank account today. So what a person, and they generally pick on, people over 50, 65, they just bombard them with these emails and say, hey, you better pay up. We found out you owe this tax. And let me tell everybody that the United States Internal Revenue Service will not send you an email first. They're going to send you a letter. By the U.S. Postal Service. And then subsequent to that, if you establish a relationship with somebody within the Internal Revenue Service, if you're working on a case, now they're not going to give it to I don't think they give it to the taxpaying public, but they will give me their email address, and we will email.
But you being an enrolled agent?
Yes. Sure. Yeah, they'll send it to me. But if you get an email and someone says, if someone says that they're from the Internal Revenue Service, ignore it. Or you can send it to the Department of Justice or CID.
So someone trying to steal your information.
Yes.
And we'll come back and talk about that, identity theft and inflated refund claims and so forth.
Yes.
Our guest is the tax hit lady, Alma Scarborough, of the tax hit lady. What's the name of it? Scarborough Tax Affair.
Yeah, Scarborough's Tax Affair, yeah.
And Scarborough Tax Affair, Alma Scarborough and her whole family and friends have always been supportive of the New Life Evangelistic Center. Alma used to walk to the New Life Evangelistic Center when we were downtown from her place of business. And she was always supportive of Reverend Larry Rice. And you were on some of the telecasts and things that we did to save New Life. And although 1411 Locust Street is closed, they're still trying to get it to reopen. But Reverend Larry Rice asked me to give this to you personally.
Wow, thank you. I appreciate that.
That's the history of the New Life Evangelistic Center, how the gentrifiers tried to move them out, and how the people next door didn't want to see homeless folks. But you know all about that.
Yes, I do. But I appreciate this. Thank you. I didn't have the history.
He wants you to have it.
Okay.
And also, you can. Larry Rice wants you to have a Bernie Hayes Show mug. Now, these aren't free. This is for a donation. But he'll tell you exactly how you can have one, and I sincerely hope that you'll listen.
For many years, Bernie Hayes has been on the front lines leading the charge for social justice. It's been a great privilege of mine to get to know Bernie personally, and I want us, in celebration of all that Bernie has done, to share with you one of these very special Bernie Hayes mugs and a copy of a book, Through the Fires, which tells you about the battle for social justice at 1411 Locust, where gentrifiers came into the neighborhood and literally shut down the church at the New Life Evangelistic Center at 1411 Locust Street because they didn't want those kind of people in the neighborhood. Direct bigotry. Now, if you'll request this mug and share a gift of $25 or more, we'll send you this book, 328 pages that go into great detail on all the manipulating behind the scenes and on the scenes that took place in order for the city of St. Louis to consider it a nuisance because there were hurting and homeless people in the neighborhood. We would love to see a beloved community that when development takes place in a community, instead of the poor and the elderly and the homeless being pushed out, it's a beloved community that welcomes people from all over, regardless of their racial background or who they might be. They're people made in the image of God. Bernie Hayes has fought for that for years. And now we're teaming up with Bernie in a very special and powerful way. If you'll just call in R421302, or you can send your special gift and just say, please send me the Bernie Hayes mug. We will include in that Through the Fire, historical book that I've written on how the St. Louis gentrifiers tried to destroy a church because of its homeless congregations. You know, there's a common saying that if your neighbor's house on fire, yours in danger also. The bigotry, the hypocrisy in the city of St. Louis affects all of us. I thank God for Bernie, who has continued to point it out and root it out. Now we're teaming up with Bernie. When you request the Bernie Hayes mug and share a gift of $25 or more to New Life Evangelistic Center, I'll include my book, Through the Fire. We'd love to hear from you. Share now, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri.
And welcome back. My guest is the tax hit lady, Alma Scarborough, from the Scarborough Tax Affair here in St. Louis, Missouri. Alma, phone scams, impersonating IRS agents remain an ongoing threat to people. It happened to me. Someone called me on my cell phone and says, you owe money and you better pay up today. And but I knew it was a scam because I'd heard about these scams. Tell us about those phone scams and what people should do, how they should react.
The phone scams are really, really awful. I mean, all of them are bad. Yeah. But some of these scammers will stay on the phone with those who do not know better. They say, unless you keep your cell phone in your pocket so I can hear what you're saying and know that you're going to the bank to put this on a particular type of card. Wow. Yeah, and they will tell the person, they say, well, now, if you don't do this today, we're going to send the FBI after you or the Criminal Investigation Division. And someone who's not savvy or don't know this, I mean, they get really excited about it. And they say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and pay them and get them, get them off of my back. That's not the thing to do at all.
What should they do?
What they should do is call.
Oh, hang up, right?
That's the main thing. You know, because if you would do that, at least you could disconnect yourself from it. But sometimes they have telephone numbers that may be in India, Pakistan, they may be anywhere.
Right.
So Internal Revenue Service, they do have a department that deals with that, and it's under irs.gov and scams. And there's a number for different types of scams.
Okay.
There's different types of numbers because they're specialized. Each one of these things, they have now a whole new identity theft division going on in Internal Revenue because there's people are filing fraudulent income tax return with your number, anybody's number, they don't care, or a business number.
Well, it happened to me, and I had to come to you to get that straight.
I remember that. I remember that. It takes a minute, too. I mean, it just doesn't absolve itself because if they file a tax return with your Social Security number, when you file, they're going to kick yours out. They don't know who it is, you know. So this person has walking around with a great big refund. Right. Because, you know, if they steal your number.
Stolen from me.
Yeah, they're going to start making up the rest of the things on the tax return. And it takes a little while to get it straightened out.
So you said something very important, that if they want to contact you, the IRS will send you a letter. So these phone scams, just ignore them.
I'm so glad you brought that back up because oftentimes I forget to say that. Internal Revenue Service sends letters first. If someone calls you and say that they're going to, you know, take your bank account or your check or your house, if you didn't get a letter, they lying. That's all it is to it. They just lying. Do not do a thing that they're talking about. Yeah, I think that's very important. You get letters first. Am I being emphatic there?
Oh, yes, you are. What about inflated refund claims? Beware of a preparer that promises a big refund, asks you to sign a blank or partially prepared return.
You know, this is just like it's scammers out there that are on the telephone. There's scammers that are tax preparers. Wow. Professional, I won't say professional, but they're in business up until April the 15th, and then you can't find them again. But if someone says that I can get you this huge refund, oh, you've just been mistreated, I can get you. They probably can get you a huge refund, you know, if they put all the right numbers on there. But what they don't tell you is that you're going to have to pay it back, you know, with interest. So don't sign a tax return. This one lady, you know, came to me and she got a $20,000 tax return, and all she, you know, the lady made was
a refund.
A refund. I would have jumped up and started running away if I saw a $20,000 refund. I wouldn't touch it. I would not touch it. But there are, of course, people who can get that, but it's usually not somebody who makes $60,000.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Which represents a third of their income. So it took, and she did it for 2-3 years, her and the preparer. But the preparer walked away because he wasn't a preparer. Sure. And so then the other thing that happened is she had to pay it back because she signed it. Because once you sign it, it's yours. It's yours.
So there are some people out there who offer taxpayer, even storefronts and businesses that are false.
And kind of watch. Ask them how long they've been in business. Ask them if they're on the Internal Revenue Service Federal Directory for tax preparers. There are a lot of ways to check us out, too. I mean, you put my name in, it'll come all up as to my qualifications and my background. It's all right there.
So your credentials are right there?
They're right there. Okay. So if you go in there and you try to Google their name, you can't find it. I would suggest you just wait a minute and maybe go somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not only do you and your tax consultants prepare income tax, but you also give out information. Could you give us that information, how to contact you and your
Definitely. Me and my team, we are at area code 314-621-1402.
Okay, that's a little bit fast.
Was it fast?
Yeah,
okay, I'm going to do it again. It's going to be slower.
Okay.
314-621-1402 is my telephone number.
And the email?
And the email is taxhitlady@gmail.com.
Okay,
wow.
You also have Instagram and a website?
Okay, the website is www.taxhitlady.com and Instagram @gmail.com.
Okay, taxhitlady@instagram.com.
Yeah, I mean, taxhitlady at Instagram.com.
Okay.
Bernie's telling them my address.
This is wonderful.
I don't call it up that much.
This is great. Alma Scarborough is our guest. We're at the New Life Evangelistic Center with Alma Scarborough, and all her family and friends have been supportive of for many, many years. We're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. Our own location, 1411 Locust Street, downtown St. Louis, Missouri, is no longer viable, but Reverend Larry Rice and the volunteers are still trying to get that reopened. But you can help us because the same services that were provided down there are now provided here in Overland, Missouri, 2428 Woodson Road. And you may help us through an investment to New Life Evangelistic Center at www.newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. That's newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. Or you may give us a call. May pay by, not Instagram, but certainly by Visa, MasterCard, Discover Card, American Express. It takes less than 2 minutes to make that investment to the New Life Evangelistic Center with 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And we need your help and support, and we thank you for all those who've been helping us for so many years. www.newlifeevangelisticcenter.org, or give us a call, 436-2424. Back with Alma Scarborough after this.
Now you can take NLEC TV anywhere as you put the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. NLEC TV is an innovative TV station that's on the cutting edge of community service. When you tune in to NLEC TV, you'll discover a television station that has been operated by previously homeless individuals who have received broadcast training through New Life Evangelistic Center's unique on-the-job training program. On NLEC TV, you'll discover wholesome family, community, renewable energy, and inspirational programming. Those needing energy assistance, food, clothing, or freedom from the cycle of homelessness will find that plus much more on NLEC TV. Now, you can receive NLEC TV by going to 24.2 on your television set or putting the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. For further information, call 314-436-2424 or go to nlecstl.org. That's nlecstl.org.
We'll return to our guests after this Black History Moment. Today's subject, Alice Ball, an African-American chemist who developed an injectable oil extract that was the most effective treatment for leprosy until the 1940s. She was the first woman and first African-American to receive a master's degree from the University of Hawaii. And she also was the first female chemistry professor at the university. At just the age of 23, Ball developed a technique that would allow oil from seeds that become injectable and absorbable to the body. Alice Augusta Ball died on December 31st, 1916 at the age of 24, but Alice Ball's work directly impacted the 8,000 people that were diagnosed with leprosy and taken out of their homes. Because of her research, patients were no longer exiled. Alice Augusta Ball.
So many people are sleeping outside now. Winter shelters shut down. As we try to open additional shelters, we see the battle to keep the shelters shut. At the same time, the city of St. Louis is constantly manipulating more and more federal dollars in to help the homeless. But are they really helping the homeless? Get the full story on this book, Through the Fire. Names, places, events between 2012, 2018, the untold story in the city of St. Louis. Get your copy now. A gift of $10 or more will really help the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. But request a copy of Through the Fire. You can write me, Larry Rice, at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can call 314-421-302. Request a copy. It will tell you the full story. So many people sleeping outside. So many lives being lost that you aren't being told about. Hear the stories of the homeless. Find out how you can make a big difference. Again, it's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Let's do something about all the people that are remaining outside. So many they're shoving out of sight and out of mind. People, children of God, who are hurting at this hour.
And welcome back. My guest is the tax hit lady, Alma Scarborough. And Alma, there's some things that we didn't discuss that you wanted to bring to the public.
I do. I want to discuss that be careful of getting into fake charities. Mm-hmm. When you decide to give to a charity, make sure that they are a charity, because oftentimes, especially after natural disasters mm-hmm. or some type of real problem here within the United States, these groups, scams come up and they said, let's just say it was Katrina. Mm-hmm. I'm Katrina.com and I'm going down to Louisiana and I'm going to just help all the people. Sure. And they get millions of dollars and they walk away with it. And the United States is not going to give you credit for that. Wow. You have to make certain of where your money goes. That's one thing. And very quickly, I want to mention tax transcripts, which has a lot of personal information on there. Mm-hmm. And now there are people, if they have your social security number and your date of birth, they can get your transcripts from years back by going online.
Wow.
So you have to watch that. And my suggestion to your audience is every once in a while, at least once a year, check your credit report.
Okay.
To see if there's been any damage done to your name.
Is it all repairable?
It's all repairable. Okay. It just takes time. It's so frustrating. Sure. Yeah, it takes time. You just can't go in and say, okay, I didn't do this, take it off. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, right, you did it. That's the overall attitude.
And if you're the victim of a tax fraud, also, they will now send you a special number. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, to file identification number, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, my organization does that so that the correct taxpayer can get through to the United States to get the real return prepared.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing, we have about a minute left. People find they're still trying to call the IRS. Is that the best way to contact the IRS? Because
yes, it is.
It is.
It is. You got to call them and make an appointment. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I don't have that number readily available.
They can find it, yeah.
But if you call me at area code 314
okay.
621-1402 or email me at taxhitlady@gmail.com, I can give you those numbers so that you can be connected to the right part of the organization. Okay. Because, and you won't be kicked around.
Yeah, because it's just sometimes difficult to get through to the IRS, but do you have the numbers that make
I got all of them.
I'm sure
I got every one of them, so.
I just want to say thank you so much again. Filing deadline is April the 15th.
April the 15th.
And they should call the tax hit lady for more information and so forth. And
every time.
Do you prepare taxes? You also?
I prepare taxes and I do representation, both.
Right.
Yeah.
So if somebody feel they're in trouble with the IRS, they can call the enrolled agent.
Call the tax hit lady.
This is wonderful. Alma Scarborough, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And tell everybody at the taxhitlady.com and also at Scarborough Tax Affair.
Yes.
I said hello.
I'll do
and,
just
you're
that.
Very kind. Every time we have you here, so much information is displayed, and I appreciate it so much.
It's kind of exciting. Things are changing. Okay. Not always for the best. Okay.
Please support us here at the New Life Evangelistic Center, Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. That's Post Office Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, 63166. An investment in New Life is an investment in you. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day.